Today we're going to be starting on the Eggmobile. This trailer right here I picked up at an auction for $100, and if you want to watch the video on that, I'll put it, if I can figure out how to do it, I'll put it somewhere up here. And speaking of other videos, I just finished that today, so if you want to watch the video on our doghouse, that'll be somewhere around in here too. I'm trying to build all of our pasture equipment as cheap as possible and as fast as possible. We have meat birds that need to come out here, and we have dogs and other chickens that need to come out here. So we have to clean this whole thing off. I just got the lumber for the walls. I got to pick up chickens today, drop them off at the sale barn. I got 2 hours. I don't know what I'm going to get done, but it's going to happen the start of it today. So what I'm going to do is have a 6-foot wall in the back, 7-foot wall in the front, some windows, a door, Eggmobile. Okay? All right, good. I'll never understand why I always leave myself such a mess. Never understand. That's gonna stay up there. These we'll just put over there. What am I? What should I do with this? I think I'm just gonna make it a future next problem. Oh. Tetanus. Yep, tetanus. Oh, more tetanus. Oh man. All right, we're gonna stand this up. Now I have no way of plumbing this once I get it on there. So I don't know how that's gonna turn out. But I guess let's just get it up. Does that look plumb? Does that look plumb? No? That... I don't know. Okay, maybe I can square it. Maybe? I don't know. Let's just... Oh, that's not gonna work. Hold on. Hold on. Alright, well that's not going anywhere. Okay, well, past me thought that future me, which is now present me, wouldn't need a bigger square. So I'm gonna square all that up with this. Oh yeah, that's way out. If this is even doing anything, I mean, in reality, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? You know what we should do? Oh, I got it now. I know, yeah. I'm gonna build the other wall, and that'll be, wall itself will be square, so I can bump it up to this one and use that wall to square this one off to this. Next. All right, so this back wall, or side wall, that side wall, this side wall, and this side wall are gonna have window openings in them, you know, like this. And they'll be 3 feet long by 2 feet high. So what I've done here is I've marked out my 16s, but here you'll notice it's a little different. This is your king stud and this is your jack stud. So between this line and this line is 3 feet. So your king stud is the stud on the side of your opening, so that would be a standard length stud. And then your jack stud is your shorter stud that goes to the bottom of your windowsill. So once I have this wall built, I'll show you how that looks, but that's how you lay them out on your bottom and top plates. Wall number 2. Yeah. A little heavier than wall number 1. Yeah, see, that wasn't even close to being square. So now, can you put a hand on this, please, so I can you please hold this? Never mind, I'll do it. Never mind, I got it. Maybe, you know what, I'm gonna put, I wonder, I should have brought a clamp with me. I should have done. Okay, so, we're gonna human clamp. Get this. I hope it doesn't fall. All right. Well, not too much. Don't want that wall coming out. Hold on. Before we get too far here. Okay. Okay, what do we got? I guess that's fine. I guess. I'm gonna take these over here. Does it look okay? Okay. All right, so here's the completed window. Got your jack studs here, screwed in here, through the bottom. This is your sill plate, or not sill plate, window plate, whatever you want to call it. And then I just kind of did a makeshift header. Two 2x4s standing on its side. Now I'm going to build this whole thing out of 2x4s. The header, I bought the rafters as 2x4s too. I know it's not code, but it's a chicken coop, so don't really care about code. 2x4s will hold a lot more weight than you think, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I might, instead of doing 24s on center, I might do 16 on centers on the rafters, just because they are 2x4s and they're a little longer than what I did over here. Those are 8 foot, and I got 10s for these. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to square these two walls to each other. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to square these up using the 3-4-5 rule. The 3-4-5 rule is you measure 3 feet on that board, 4 feet on this board, and then they should be 5 feet in between the two, and then you know you're square. Now what I love about this is it is universal with any form of that number. So you can do 6, 8, 10. So you could do 9, 12, 15. As long as you multiply them all by the same number, then they will always work. So what I'm going to do is, instead of doing 3, 4, 5, I'm going to do 6. No, I can't do 8 because I'm on the wrong. Hold on. I know. I'm going to do 3, 4, 5 because I don't have 8 feet. Wait, no. Yes, I do. Do I have, yes, I do have 6. So I'm gonna do 6, 8, 10, because that's an 8-foot wall. And that's a 7 something. Yeah, so we're good. I'm gonna do 6, 8, 10. So mark 6 on this one here. 5, 6 feet. Now stop. 6 feet's right there. I know where 8 feet is on that one. So I'm going to let me see. I'm gonna put you here. Ooh, oh, yeah. Can you see that? Are you good right here? Yep. Okay. So 6, 8. So we should have 10 in between them. Yeah. And 10. So we are square. Which is important for multiple reasons, but it's really important here because it's not like I'm building on a slab where, oh, my tape just broke. What? What? Oh, I fixed it. Hold on. Yeah, I fixed it. So what's really important here is I'm not building on a slab. Since I'm building on this hay wagon that is more than likely not square, it's really important that I get these first 2 walls lined up, and then when I put on the wall that I'm standing on right here, I'll do the same thing with the wall we just did, and then I'll know that if I build that wall and the opposite one here the same distance, then that wall there will be square to it, if that makes sense. Put your thinking caps on. If you put your thinking cap on, that'll make sense. Okay.
So first thing I would like to address is when I was explaining the jack stud, king stud framing, it was not correct for how it actually should be framed. Your king stud would go from your top and bottom plate, and your jack stud would normally go from your bottom plate to your header, and then you'd have another stud that would go from your sill plate to your bottom plate. I was explaining it more of how I was framing it and didn't make it very clear on that's not how it's supposed to be framed. So I would like to clear that up first. But luckily these walls didn't come out that heavy. I did all of this by myself, all the framing. It was a one-man show, so I got lucky that they weren't that heavy. I built them in 8-foot sections to try and lighten them up so they wouldn't be full length, 14 or 16-foot walls. So that did help a lot. But then these smaller walls here, it did get a little wonky because the trailer itself, the hay wagon itself, wasn't perfectly straight. The deck boards that were on the bottom had seen some age, so they were all kind of, going back and forth and curved. So lining the walls up, I just kind of did the best I could. Now this wall here, I built in place because I didn't have a place to build the wall at this point. The other ones I had built on the trailer laying flat. And this one here, I couldn't do that because there's no more space. The wall was the width of the trailer and all the other walls were up. I didn't want to build it on the ground in the grass. At this point, the grass was, tall. It was hot out. We had gotten rain, so everything was wet. And I just decided to build it in place. I figured that'd be the easiest thing to do. I just toe-nailed in on the bottom and then screwed everything up from the top. It should be fine. I wasn't that worried about it. But this part of our summer here, we were extremely busy. Everything was pushing right to the end. We had meat birds in our brooder. We were trying to get them out here. When I was building this, the fence was done, but none of the gates were put up. So we still had a bunch of work to do, a ton of work to do. And I was working 2 other jobs. So any spare time I had was spent out here building this. Didn't matter what the weather was. I was out here doing it. So a lot of the footage here was me just rushing through it. Some things that I didn't get to get on camera. It was just part of trying to rush through it and get it done. So this video is going to be more fast forwarding, as you can tell. But here are these rafters. How I laid these out is I didn't want to do measurements or cut them all based on a square or whatever. So I took one rafter, I held it to the end of the entire structure, and I just marked out the top plates and then cut them all to that. They weren't perfect. I didn't get them super tight in there. I actually cut a little more of the wood out than I wanted to. Being a 2x4, you can see there's only like 2 inches of wood left holding it. But there shouldn't be a bunch of weight on this, on the roof of this. So it's metal. I'm not really worried about it. It's super light. And then these pieces of OSB we got, we salvaged them. So we did get them for free, which helped save a ton on the cost of this. The only thing that we bought was the hay wagon and the lumber to frame the walls. But how I cut these, I put them up as full sheets, put 2 screws in them to hold them, and then used a pencil to mark out the windows, mark out the sides where to cut them. That way I knew they would fit. They would be perfect fit. I didn't have to cut and try and measure and figure out if something was out of square, how to cut it. I just marked it and then cut it on that line, so I knew everything was perfect. It was going to fit just fine. And sometimes I'd use blocks like that you see on the bottom where I needed a little help getting it on there. But here the wall was inset on the top of the wagon, so I was able to just set the plywood right on top of that, and it held itself. But I think I got all the OSB up in about 2 days. So that didn't take that long. It was more about just getting out there and doing it, because nobody likes hanging OSB by themselves. That sucked. Luckily, the roof I didn't do any OSB on. I did, because I was doing metal. You'll see here, I did the same way I did the doghouse. I put the stringers on the top, and then did the 1/2-inch insulation board, and then put the metal right over it. Yeah, these top ones got a little more tricky. Kind of getting up the ladder. You can see there I had to use blocks to get it to stay up there, but I had to do this twice, remember. I had to put the full sheet up there, mark it, and then bring it back down. Luckily, I didn't do these on windy days. This one I decided I didn't feel like taking back down, so I just cut it where it was. It took me a lot of effort to get it up there in the first place, so then I decided I wasn't going to take it down. That's the only cut I had to make right there, is along the rafter. This side ended up just a touch short. I was trying to get the best yield I could out of my material.
So I came out here yesterday and I forgot the camera at home. But all I did was finish this OSB here, and then I got the strapping for the roof on. And now what I'm going to do is run the pink insulation in between that, and then start getting the roof on. So what I did is I ran these boards 16 inches centered on the ends, so I can get the most yield out of my 4-foot by 8-foot boards of insulation. And then these right here is where the metal roof will screw into. So let's get that insulation cut and put up there, and then we'll start working on metal. You ready? You just got to sit on it. That's it. Just sit on it. All right. Good job.
Can I play with that, please?
No.
Dad, watch this. Ah! Dad, I want it. I want to do it on
Okay.
That was so cute. Oh wait, I don't quite have a wingspan. Good job.
There you go, honey.
You're gonna get it. Oh, put all your muscles into
Bring it back farther. Bring it back to you. There you go. Now go. Now go up. Almost. You want some help?
Yeah.
Just lift one side up.
Here. You got it.
Oh no, she's crushed by the installation board.
I'm not.
I thought you wanted to turn it.
Yeah, we gotta turn it.
I can't.
Here, you want to get back up there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Can I get another one, please?
Yeah. After you hammer that down,
Yeah, I need another one.
you need to hammer it down. Fine.
Come on. Yeah. Thank you.
That was heavy.
Ah, thank you. All right, thank you, Evelyn. I feel like I could have made that less awkward.
Why are you so awkward, bud?
I don't know.
Made a spare parts or something? It's the fall that doesn't get you.
It's that sudden stop at the end, isn't it?
Right up there at the bottom.
Hits you every time. All right, so the roof is on. These are all full panels. And then I kind of ran into, didn't have enough. So you can see there's this one that came up was angled, and then I put a small one that's angled, and then this one had an angle. And then this is, there's a leak I installed there. You know, it'll hold, it's good. All right, so next is door. So this door, I'm gonna build a wood frame that sits in there, and then take this piece of plywood and screw it to the front of that. So then I can just do 2 hinges and it'll open, but the wood frame will add some nice rigidity to it. So let's start building that wood frame, and then we'll get the plywood put on it and get it installed.